Nope, there's nothing I can do about that. I'm afraid you have won again. So it's the beginning of your turn, and you've controlled the, what is it, this one? A word of the wise. God damn it. Hello, I did not see you there. Welcome back to Ready Steady Play. Thank you so much for checking out this video. This is just a vlog, a quick catch up after UKGE and everything. It's just about time I got my life in order, and so I just wanted to say, thanks so much for watching the channel, and hello. I've got a list. I've got an agenda to make sure that this doesn't go on too long, because there's a lot to talk about, but I'm honestly not going to cover it all. So let me just say, first off, big congratulations to Tabular Games on the success of UKGE. That was their latest game that we played on the channel, of course. We had a bit of a Tabular Games sort of streak as we played Mystia, and then we did UKGE, and then we did The Fall as well. And so big congratulations on the success of their campaign for UKGE and also The Fall. And also much apologies for getting so many rules in The Fall wrong. There was a few that I managed to catch in the video. Of course, I called them out. And however you feel about the rules we got wrong in that video, I think the one really important rule that I missed, that we actually did catch in the practice game. It's so funny. We played a practice game pretty much flawlessly. And then when we came to filming, it all fell apart. And that sometimes happens, especially with the prototype rulebooks when you're trying to reference stuff and look stuff up that you may not be super familiar with. It's a good rulebook is really, really critical. And unfortunately, a lot of these prototypes have working documents. And this isn't a slight on the rulebook for The Fall that we received. It's just, a fact of life sometimes, especially when you're playing a lot of prototypes like we have been over the past few weeks. And, coming back from UKGE, I'm quite excited to get stuck into some final copies of things again. But, we want to cover that's a discussion for a bit later. The point is, big congratulations. And the main rule we got wrong in The Fall, of course, was that you're supposed to draw a event card after each player has one turn, not after everyone has a turn. And so we were playing on essentially super easy mode, which makes sense because when we played the practice game, it was way harder. And then when we played on camera, we couldn't figure out why it was so easy. But now we know. And so I hope that those videos still gave you some insight into how the game is sort of supposed to function. But suffice to say, moving on to UKG stuff, we had a really good time. We had a really good convention. We played lots of games and met lots of very, very cool people. And I just wanted to say, there's we have our own, as you may notice from all of this stuff here, we have our own budget for games that we use for the show. Sometimes we also get cool Kickstarters. Often that is linked, or cool prototypes, often linked to Kickstarter campaigns that people want to run. But I do say, we don't produce, what we do is we play through the game and then we have a sort of a frank discussion afterwards. But we use that format for literally everything we receive, regardless of what state it's in, And I do sort of caveat with this, with that sort of preface. And most people are actually really excited to send us stuff and get us to play it, precisely because of that, which is super cool. And shout outs to some cool people who are super enthusiastic about what we do. I just want to say a big shout out to Az Drummond of Mythic Games, because he gave us a whole bunch of... We backed, from our own budget, we backed Joan of Arc, and I reached out to him and I said, what more should I get for Joan of Arc? And he hooked us up with a lot of Joan of Arc stuff, and he said, you don't have to do anything with this content or with this material. Do what you want, and that was just really refreshing. So a big shout out to Mythic Games for that. That was super cool. I do want to do a shout out to Mantic as well for sending us a copy of Hellboy. That was not something we backed in our budget, and someone, a fan of the show, a subscriber, just said, hey, are you going to get Hellboy? And so I reached out to Mantic and I said, would you have a review copy? And they said, sure, here you go. And that's super cool. That's very, very cool. And so that's really reassuring. And I wanted to say a shout out to Mike Brown of Grimlord Games. He's been very cool as well, sending us some stuff and sort of engaging with us as well. So, that's... and of course, Marchin from Awaken Realms as well has always been super supportive of us, even when we maybe, we've certainly been very enthusiastic about some of their games, and we've been also, I think a bit less gushing about some of their other games, but we've certainly, I think, always been very fair, and they've produced very good quality games. So, by and large, and a lot of people, there's a lot of love for Awakened Realms out there as well. So, it's just very cool that they continue to support the channel and everything that we're doing here, because at the end of the day, a lot of the stuff we're playing it because it's come out of sort of a budget that I've set aside for games for the channel. We got a copy of Netatanka as well from BlackRock Games, and that was very cool as well. They were very keen. I said, if your game is good, give us a copy. We'll play it and we'll let you know. And they were like, brilliant. We think our game is great. Here's a copy. So that was very cool of them to do that. So BlackRock Games, shout out for them as well. And we will play Netatanka and we will tell you what we think of it. And so all in all, a great convention. We had a really, really good time. It's amazing how big it's grown. It's gotten so much bigger, and hopefully it will continue to grow, because we always really enjoy that convention. And it's a really nice sort of compromise between the stalls and the outlets from Essen and the sort of the gameplay areas as well. There's lots of space to play games there, which there is less of at Essen. So that's really cool to be able to do that. And so moving on then, I just wanted to give a shout out to Paul Grogan as well of Gaming Rules. I'm sure you know his channel. He's a very popular games teacher, and he had a live podcast on Saturday night, which he invited me and a bunch of other really talented people who are creating media content and games and publishing games and stuff. And he invited everyone on to come on with him and Tom Heath from Slicker Drips. So that was really, really cool that that I got to do that. Michael was going to come, but then he was too busy playing Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. So that was really, really cool. And so thanks very much to Paul for inviting me to do that. And I know he's had some trouble getting to Origins, but hopefully he'll get there safe and sound for this weekend to do his thing, because he is a very good instructor. Right. And also Tom Heath, I know he's launched his Patreon like yesterday or something. So if you haven't seen Slicker Drips or his channel, he does a lot of heavy Euro stuff, and it's very, very cool. So do go and check out what he's got going on there, and check out his Patreon and see if that's something you'd like to support as well. Okay. Right. This is a Kickstarter that just came through, Skull Tales. Have you heard of it? It's an old game. This is their new sort of full sale reprint of it. That was a Kickstarter that arrived while I was at UKGE. I'm really keen to look at it. It is a pirate game, so that's cool. I have no idea if it's even filmable. I had a glance through the rules and they were reasonably complex. Teddy Gear was no help at all, so I don't know what to do with it. But if it's something you want to see, I will endeavor to do what I can. The other games in this pile, you may recognize some of them, are games that I have ambitions to live stream, but I need to get my head around OBS, because I really have... the Resident Evil live streams is about the limit of what I've been able to realize so far in terms of live streaming. And I do want to do part B of Resident Evil as well, so hopefully we'll be able to do that in the near future, because I've been so busy producing content for this channel, and Michael's been so busy helping me that neither of us have any idea what happens in the B campaign, so it should be more of the same of that. So if you enjoyed that, be sure to keep an eye out for when we might be doing that. I would like to give you a heads up when we go live, but it's often very improvised, so... particularly with something like Resident Evil, I would like to do more publicity if we ever manage to get Lord of the Rings going. That I know that was a requested thing, and I'd really, really like to find out what happens in the next adventure. I haven't played it since we played it on the show because I've been producing all this other content, so I'm really keen to get back to it, and I'm sure you're keen to see Chris reprimand me some more as well. So that should be fun if I can figure out OBS. In the meantime, so I will try and do publicity for that if we ever get it going. Gloomhaven is something I've wanted, and Seventh Continent are games that I've wanted to live stream for a really long time. So do let me know if you're interested in that. I have no idea how we're going to work it into the schedule. I have no idea how we're going to do it. But I've played like 2 adventures of Gloomhaven. I've never run my own campaign, but I think it'd be so much fun to have a campaign with the guys on the channel. So if that's something you're interested in, let me know. And in the meantime, over here, I've got a bunch of new stuff from the convention and things like that. Outer Rim is one I'm quite keen to get onto the channel. So let me know if that's something you're interested in seeing. it's relatively new Star Wars. I can give you a 2-minute review. Someone asked me, I played it at the convention, and someone asked me, is it any good? I said, it's a bit like Firefly and Gia. It's open world. It's simpler than those games. I guess it's in feeling, it feels a bit like Western Legends or Merchants and Marauders as well. And he just said, "Great, not for me, thanks." So if that's all you need on Outer Rim, then we're done. But I hope not, because I'm still planning to do it. Netatank is probably something I'll try and get into the schedule. Dark Domains is something you guys asked for. I've played it a few times. If it's something you're still interested in, I will try and do that too. But, we've got some really cool stuff showing up. You may have heard that Awakened Realms have a new Kickstarter campaign coming, and maybe they'll send me a copy of the game, maybe? And if they do, that would be super cool to play on the channel and show you guys what to expect from Ether Fields. We've got this prototype of Super Fantasy Brawl, which if you haven't heard of, you will soon. It's Mythic Games' new Kickstarter coming later this summer, and hopefully I'll be doing some videos on this for that in the near future. That's my plan. I hope to do it, but it's entirely possible I will be completely distracted by Joan of Arc, which is supposed to be showing up imminently as well. We've got Century and New World. That came out at the UKGE as well. I don't know about you guys, but I'm really interested to see how the triptych works out. So if you are interested in that, let me know. If you're interested in just a Century, a New World, I probably won't do it alone as a single game because it's just a bit too light for us to do a series on. I did do it previously for the other Century games. Well, actually, just for Eastern Wonders, and that was a lot of work. And unless you're really, really keen, I think there are other things that are probably more pressing in the schedule. But obviously, all of this stuff is sort of pending over the next wee while. So do let me know down below what you're interested in seeing. And we'll see what we can work on from there. There are probably more things showing up at some point because I backed too many Kickstarters. Oh, and shout out to John Burt. I'm sorry I missed you. We were so busy at the UKG running around and doing things and trying stuff. And we didn't really get a whole lot of time to sit down and play games other than demos from designers and stuff. But it was super, super cool. And it was really sort of reassuring to see how much people actually really sort of liked what we were doing. Because, we do our best to make this fun and interesting and informative, and entertaining. But so that was just really sort of touching to see people sort of reaching out and saying, hey, we want you to come by and try our game and check it out and see what you think of it. That was really, really nice. So we will continue to blunder our way through games and try to create the best and most informative content we can, so you know what's going on when you think about spending money on these things. Do you want an unboxing of this? I don't really do unboxings, but my unboxing of Nemesis, people went nuts for that. But I think that's just because it was Nemesis, and that just seems to generate views because it's great. I can't wait for the stretch goals. Nemesis stretch goals are coming soon, probably. That's a whole nother thing. Oh my god. I have so many ambitions. Not enough time. Thank you so much for watching the channel, everybody. And I'll see you in the next video with more updates and information. Oh, probably game video tomorrow. It's going to be another... it's going to be... I'm waiting by. It's going to be another Kickstarter thing, I think. I get a lot of emails from people who are sort of small-time game producers, and they're doing their first Kickstarter and stuff like that. Because I don't charge any money to produce any of this content. Something Tom Vassell said that I shouldn't do. But I do get a lot of sort of invitations to do that kind of stuff. And I do like to support those people, and try and get the word out about their game. So I spend a lot of time reading prototype rule books and saying, that's not ready, or we can't play this, or this is interesting and I'm interested in it. I would like to spend more time doing that, but there's only so many hours in a day and so many things to figure out. But, I think we probably won't see any more small-time Kickstarters for a little while because we've got so many big production games coming our way, and by the time we get through all of this, there'll probably be Essen, and there'll be all the Essen releases to get to grips with, you know. So do let me know if that's something you are interested in seeing as well. And, you know, I'm probably going to get a lot of mixed feedback on this because everybody's got different tastes and you all want to see different stuff. And that's super cool because, you know, I like to play all kinds of different games. You know, I'm equally happy playing this Super Fantasy Brawl or Dark Domains or Nedatanka or Lord of the Rings or Gloomhaven or whatever. So let's just see if we can have some fun adventures together. Thank you so much for watching.